Hunters, there's so much Monster Hunter news and it's hard to keep up. The digital Monster Hunter section of TGS just wrapped up, so I just wanted to recap what we saw for Monster Hunter Now and Monster Hunter Wilds, in case you guys haven't been keeping up with Monster Hunter news. Starting things off, they showed Season 3 of Monster Hunter Now with the new monsters we've been enjoying and hunting recently, as well as cooking meat, which, if you haven't tried yet, is super fun. Definitely try it out. You get 2 pieces of meat in your daily supplies, so you can cook some well done steak and try for a score of 100, because it's borderline impossible, even though I know a lot of you guys have done it. Then they went over the Monster Hunter Now Carnival 2024 and showed Nergigante and how you're going to be able to hunt it remotely, just like we saw in last month's events. Video right there if you didn't see it. But his weakness is Blast and Thunder, and he's basically Monster Hunter's version of Wolverine if you haven't fought him in World. Nergigante will be available in that Shibuya event only for a limited time, and you'll have to like track down evidence of him, which would be really cool to do, but don't have enough money to go there right now. But the in-game event is planned for a later date. I assumed it was going to be like pretty close to the event in time, but this is making it seem like it's like a little bit later. Weeks after, a month after, I don't know. But it also says during that event, Gold Rathian and Silver Rathalos will show up. Silver Rathalos is weakest to water and then thunder, and Gold Rathian is weakest to thunder, so just like the other Wraths, except for Azure Rathalos, as long as you have a good thunder weapon, then you'll be fine with fighting these 2 monsters. And then it just said the next major update is planned for December, which we all know. And then the man himself, Ryozo, showed up and presented 2 new trailers. Technically, one of the trailers we saw like 2 days ago, and then this new one is all information that we pretty much knew, but it's narrated by Alma, our handler, which is pretty sick. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Wilds, guys. It looks so good. It looks so immersive. It's like beautiful. The weapons look amazing. The new gameplay looks amazing. I'm so excited. For the story of this game, we will be contracted by the guild to go into uncharted territory that the guild has been investigating, which is dubbed the Forbidden Lands, which we actually had a location called the Forbidden Lands in Monster Hunter 4U, but it's not the same place according to developers, even though there are a lot of Monster Hunter 4 connections in this, which is music to my ears. It's just an amazing amalgamation of everything Monster Hunter. Wilds looks so good. It looks so good. We find a boy named Nata whose village was attacked by monsters, and we bring him onto our airship, and we have to uncover the mystery of what happened. So in this larger commission of the expedition, we are part of one of many expedition teams. Each expedition team consists of a hunter, a handler, a palico, and a smithy. And this trailer is narrated by our handler, Alma. She authorizes hunts for the guild, and she can teach us all about different weapons. There's even a feature where you can do it based on preference, like I like to move fast and that kind of stuff, and she'll recommend which weapon is best for you. That's so sick. And there's a confirmed training area in our camp, which, like, from what I saw was just this barrel, but hey, it's better than nothing. I'm sure there is more stuff that you can train on in the camp. And our smithy is Gemma. She is so dope and has been hard at work for a very long time, if this is the same person who was Little Miss Forge in Monster Hunter 4U. Our unit is called Avis Unit, and we can even team up with other units in universe, like the Astrum unit, which all look super dope as well. Look at that Palico, he looks like a Chad. But it could also be a Lady Palico, I don't know, just looks dope. Then it went over our 2 different locales that we know of so far right now, which is the Windward Plains and the Crimson Forest. And there will be 3 different states in the Windward Plains. The fallow, where everything is covered in sand and there's not a lot of food and stuff, so monsters are more aggressive because they're fighting each other a lot for different resources. And then the sand tide brings in a huge storm, which creates tons of electric strikes, which is something that happens in real life because of the charged particles, and especially sand charging the particles. So I imagine there's going to be lots of like fulgurs and really cool stuff like that because they're going for immersion in this game, which is music to my ears. But after the storm is swept away by the wind, then comes the time of plenty, which makes everything look kind of like an African savanna, and resources are much more available to monsters, and therefore it's more of a time of peace. Then it covered how in this Monster Hunter, there are packs of monsters. So we're not just gonna be fighting one main monster with some little ones around, we're gonna be fighting packs of big monsters with one being the alpha. You can use dung pods to disperse them, or you can try to take them all on at the same time, which will be a very fun challenge, but probably impossible at later levels. This is a pack of Doshagama, which sounds a little weird to say because I've been saying Doshoguma this whole time, but she pronounces it as Doshagama, and they're kind of like giant dog bears. And this is the sandworm Balahara, which drills into the sand and you, and they can make giant sand traps. This game is gonna be so sick. This is Chotacabra, which sticks to more of the rocky areas, and it's another amphibian monster, which is sick. I love Tetsukabra, it's one of my favorites. Its tongue is its weak spot, is what she was saying. And this is Reidao, which is a lightning monster that comes with the storm. It's just so insane looking. If you've been watching my channel for a while, or you've been watching other channels, then you would have seen all of these monsters so far. I just want to make this a comprehensive recap. But Reidao is the apex of the Windward Plains, and boy is he gonna be fun to fight. Then she went over the endemic life, which essentially is just the small critters and monsters in the area, but man, so many of these guys are so cute. Look at this. And again, the immersion looks so good. Like, we have our telescope or binoculars like we had in the older Monster Hunter games, but I love that it's like leaning into like, hey, look around your environment, watch what goes on. There were tons of detailed animations and like full loops of NPCs in world, so I can't even imagine how long you're gonna be able to follow these endemic life around the map. I'm definitely just gonna do that for hours just for fun. And also the community managers confirmed that these are not baby Puke. So sad. Then she showed our base camp, which is in this like cavern, and it just looks, again, so sick. I'm sorry, I'm just really excited. But it's gonna be like our hub, like Astera was in World, where you can do all the same stuff. Stock up, go to bed, go to the smithy. But when you're out, you also have access to mobile camps, known as pop-up camps, which you can change your equipment, eat food, restock, do all the same stuff basically. But if you put it in the wrong place, a monster can come by and destroy it, which is so cool to me. Again, very immersive. So it encourages you to study the routes of monsters and place your pop-up camps where they are not going regularly. And then they show the village of Kunafa, which kind of feels like an amalgamation of like Middle Eastern and Aztec-y vibes. Super cool. And holy heck, they made the food look good in this game. Oh my goodness. Then she went over the hunting basics, which I'm assuming if you're watching this, then you already know, so I'm gonna skip over that for now. But it is cool to see the new and improved slinger, like grabbing items and pulling down traps and stuff. Again, super cool. But speaking of food, something so cool about this game is that in past games, you would basically just cook raw meat. So if you like collected some raw meat, you could cook it, make a well-done steak, heck yeah. But in this game, you have your mobile cooking station, and whatever you catch, you cook. So if you get meat, you cut up meat and cook it. But if you get things like fish, then it'll show it as fish that you're cooking. So cool, dude. Look at how good this looks. Like, I'm hungry now. And since we'll be out in the field pretty much the whole time, we don't have to return to a hub this time. It'll show us the duration of our stat buffs from the food. So that way we know like, okay, in 30 minutes, it's gonna go away. Then they go over your Palico, which is your constant helper. They can lay down traps, they can heal you, they can fight alongside you, all kinds of stuff. Palicos are amazing. And again, they can talk in this game if you didn't know. Then they went over how your health bar reacts to monster attacks, and it'll kind of like wiggle or ripple when you're about to get hit by a strong attack. It specifically said that it's a life-threatening attack. So if it's a one-hit KO, or if you're low on health and this attack is certainly gonna take you out, then it'll wiggle so that you know, get out of the way. Then they went over the basics of the Seikret, which is your new version of Palamute from Rise, but it's more like a chocobo. You ride on your Seikret, you can store items in your Seikret, you can have your Seikret automatically take you to a specific place on the map, like your objective, and then you can also gather along the way using your slinger, so you can just grab items while Seikret takes you wherever, and you can just let go of the controller and he will take you wherever you want to go, or you can manually control him. It's really cool that you can kind of like sit back and traverse and like really take in the scenery if you want to, or if you're trying to really get somewhere fast, you can just like book it on Seikret with your control. You can also switch weapons on Seikret. If you change equipment at your home base or a camp, then you can have two weapons with you on the hunt on your Seikret. So you can switch between like hunting horn and dual blades, or great sword and heavy bowgun, or hammer and hammer like Ryozo. And Seikret has a version of Wirefall from Rise, but it's a little bit slower. It's not exactly the same thing. Seikret can come scoop you up if you get knocked down. I'm sure that this will be not able to be super abused. Probably Seikret gets tired or doesn't respond to every single call if you are getting knocked down a ton, theoretically. But I assume it's that way, so that way people don't just abuse it. And then it goes over SOS flares. You can shoot up an SOS flare to play multiplayer, just like in World. Other online hunters will come and join you, or if you want to play offline, you can also use NPC hunters from other expedition teams to come and help you, just like the follower system from Monster Hunter Rise. That was one of my favorite systems because I would like go on a road trip with my wife or something, and I'd be able to play Rise for like 4 hours in the car. Super sick. Except me, I didn't. I don't get car sick that easy. I guess ripperoni to all you guys, because that was really fun for me. Another thing that's really cool and immersive about this game is you no longer kind of like glitch through and into the monsters when you're carving. You actually go on top of them to carve pieces off. It'd be really cool to see if you go to specific places, if you get those specific drops. Like if I'm looking for a tail and I carve the tail, do I get a higher likelihood of that drop? Vice versa for horns, etc. I used to think that way back when I was like 14 or something playing Monster Hunter 1. I was like, oh, obviously if I want a claw, I need to carve at the claws. It don't work that way. It's all RNG. Then Ryozo came back and introduced the trailer that we saw the other day, which again, this story is looking sick. There's a lot of drama.
You're a hunter. You've got a weapon and you do nothing.
And then we're shown the Scarlet Forest and a new type of weather inclemency, which is called downpour. And I think that happens to me about every other time I go out to play Monster Hunter now. Amatsu's just following me around, dude. But speaking of Amatsu, there's a new water Leviathan monster that kind of looks like Amatsu that is the apex of the Scarlet Forest. And this monster's name is Uthduna. Really cool. And just like Raydao, it comes out in its inclemency weather period, which is the downpour, because the rivers are flowing incredibly hard and there's a lot more water for it to use against you. I saw other players joking about how underwater combat is definitely here now because more than half of your body is underwater while fighting in this weather status, so okay. And then we see the peaceful period of this map, and oh baby, this looks like my favorite map so far. Look at how beautiful this is, and look at the fishing. It looks gorgeous. But for real though, every piece of the game looks like it's being expanded upon. Fishing is always pretty fun in Monster Hunter and enjoyable to me because that's one thing I love about Monster Hunter is that it's, yeah, a hunting simulator and an action game, but it's also pseudo life sim because you can go gather and do fun things like that you would normally do in a comfy game. So if I want to be comfy, I'll just go gather a bunch and then, oh no, I have a bunch of resources. And then if I want to be action oriented, then I'll go hunt stuff, you know? But I really hope that fishing has like a bunch of complicated mechanics. And I feel like that's been alluded to somewhere, but I've been looking at so many different news sources that I do not remember where, or if that's just speculation by somebody. But we have had it in the past where you can use different items to lure fish, like a frog, for example, being able to lure plesioth. So I really hope they go in depth with this. And then we see bombs, traps, a new Linian species that are talking to you also, that look kind of like Stitch in my opinion. And these Stitch-like Linians are called Wudwuds. Of course they are, that's such a cute name. Look at him with his mushroom. I'm sure Tails from Giddy Fox Gaming loves these guys. And then we see another new monster, Kimitris, which is like basically based off of a cockatrice, which is a mythological creature, but it uses its tail to spark along the ground and create fire. It looks so cool and is basically just Blaziken, but for the Monster Hunter universe. But gosh dang it, these monster designs are sick. But then we're introduced to the flagship of Monster Hunter Wilds, the White Wraith, or Arkveld. And apparently this is what attacked Nata's village and destroyed it. It looks so sick, and there's been a bunch of different speculation on it. It kind of looks like an unidentified monster, kind of like Gormagala, and that speculation is leading to a lot of hunters thinking that maybe it has, you know, some kind of blight on it, or it's in an evolutionary stage, and the fact that it's fighting other apexes leads to speculation that maybe it steals some of their powers, or needs the energy from those apexes to evolve into its actual Elder Dragon form, because they haven't stated whether this is an actual Elder Dragon or not yet. Even on the website, it doesn't say it's an Elder Dragon. It says, a monster known among the Commission as the White Wraith, described as having unique chain-like appendages extending from its wings, a species long thought to have been extinct. Its ecology remains shrouded in mystery. Look at this dude. Oh my goodness. And then Nata's talking about giving him something and like he'll do something with it, which is leading me to believe that the necklace that we saw early on that was definitely highlighted that he was wearing was maybe taken from him or like held for safekeeping or something, and maybe it holds power against the White Wraith, Arkfeld? I don't know. But basically he's like, if you're scared, I'll do it.
Give it to me, and I'll...
Respect, Nata. And then we got the most important reveal of this trailer. Yian-Kut-Ku is coming back. And we see a whole colony of them. If you don't know what a Yian-Kut-Ku is, it is from Monster Hunter 1 and the early gens, and it's kind of the like tutorial proving ground monster for like the very low rank. And because of that, a lot of hunters fell in love with it. It's very like basic, but it teaches you a lot of the mechanics of hunting and wyvern battles. So it's very beloved to veteran hunters. And then we get the release date of February 28th, 2025. So if you didn't know yet, you can pre-order it now on PS5, Xbox Series X, and Steam, which is where I'm getting it, because I'm getting a PC for this game because I want it to be the best experience I can. I will add it to my Nexus store, which is basically just a place that you can buy games on Steam that would support me. I get a small cutback from that, but it's not available for purchase yet. So if you're watching this in the future, maybe check the link in the description. Then it goes over the additions of the game you can get. You can pause it if you want to see what you get for each thing, and you get Palico outfits if you have save data from World or Iceborne. Then it went over the multiple collabs that were happening for the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter. One is Fender, the guitar company, and look at all this stuff you get. This guitar is gorgeous. If I played guitar, I would be all over this. I kind of want to get it just because it looks so sick, and look at the guitar case. It's like your item chest. It's so sick. They also said they might add an emote in the game as this collaboration, so maybe you could like air guitar or something. I don't know, that's kind of cool. Then there's also a Transformers collab for the 40th anniversary of Transformers. I am old, and the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter. And it looks to be a transforming toy or model of Rathalos Prime. So it is a Rathalos that is a transformer that you can, fly around and stuff, and then it will transform into an Optimus Prime Transformer body. Like, I'm not super into Transformers, but I know a lot of you guys in the Discord are, and I hope this is super hype for you guys. Then they went over Monster Hunter Bridge, which is an in-person immersive VR experience for Monster Hunter Wilds, and it's in the Kansai region of Japan in the Osaka Healthcare Pavilion. And if I was rich or was able to go there for like a sponsorship or something, I would absolutely show you guys and check this out, but alas, none of those things are true. Maybe for the next huge Monster Hunter release when I'm like 40, I'll be able to go to that. But then the final collab that wasn't announced in this preview, but was announced yesterday just online, is that Monster Hunter is collabing with Digimon. What? These are two of my favorite things in the world, and they're making a Digimon V-Pet where you can raise the monsters from Monster Hunter. And needless to say, I'm pretty excited about this. I love Digimon V-Pets. They are a nostalgic thing from my childhood, but also a super fun thing to raise Digimon different ways and get different outcomes. It's great for me when I'm editing because it's like something I can do for like 1 minute and train my Digimon a little bit and then put it back down and then it'll call for me later, etc. But this is a collab where you're raising actual monsters from Monster Hunter on the V-Pets. It also like plays the intro music and the victory music when you win battles and stuff. Like, it's super sick. But because this is a Bandai product, just like these Digimon Colors, this is a recreation of the OG Digimon V-Pet. It's pre-order only, and they're about 60 to 65 bucks each just for these. When I was growing up, they were like 14 bucks. It's incredibly frustrating because it's only available through Premium Bandai and like one other site right now, and Premium Bandai has already sold out of the pre-orders. How do you sell out of pre-orders? But the site that I used to buy my Digivices, Zen and TCG, didn't even have them listed yet by the time they sold out of the other ones. So I'm sure there will be another round of it. Otherwise, I'm not even getting it. But there is a Rathalos version and a Zinogre version, and there's DNA Digivolutions of Greymon and Rathalos, which looks pretty cursed. And then Zinogre and Garurumon, which actually looks pretty lit. I'm a huge fan of Rathalos and Greymon, but what is this, y'all? But yeah, you can raise a ton of different monsters, up to 36 different monsters, and there's some subspecies on there too. Like, I'm all about this. So I'm gonna spend $120 and then shipping just for these 2 little Digivices. Like, frustrating, but you got me. I'm nostalgic for these, and this is like one of the few things that I actually collect, so I'm buying these if they restock the pre-orders. But anyway, hunters, that's it. Huge news roundup. I'm super excited for literally everything I just talked about, and I hope you guys are too. Please like the video. Thanks for watching. Happy hunting, and subscribe so you can go on this hunting journey with me. Until next time, see you later, hunters.